Bread makes you fat? My name is Skryonics, and my favorite movie is Scott Pilgrim versus the World. The movie's so flashy and funny and indie in all the right ways. It has an amazing soundtrack that I've shown off I own. Now, Nando V Movies has called together another group of film nerds to talk about the amazing needle drops and musical moments from your favorite films. So, here I am, ready to talk about how Scott Pilgrim's soundtrack is essential to establishing its unique tone, and the film would not have been as much of a cult classic as it is without it. The first example I would like to bring up of the music being perfect for the style and tone of the movie is in this scene. In it, we see this. The P-bar is a light video game joke which scratches at the surface of Scott Pilgrim vs. the World's influences. In fact, video games are centric to the identity of the Scott Pilgrim IP, as Brian Lee O'Malley, creator of the original graphic novel series, once said during what I believe is the movie commentary, that the series was inspired by Street Fighter. So what kind of music do you think plays when Scott opens this door? What you're hearing right now is the Great Fairy Fountain theme from the Legend of Zelda series. But how did Zelda music end up in this movie? Well, once upon a time, there was this director named Edgar Wright. He'd made some pretty stylistic and funny movies in the past, and now he was tasked with adapting the Scott Pilgrim graphic novel series, which hadn't even finished yet. And Wright had an idea. What if during the dream sequence, the main character would hear the Great Fairy Fountain from the Legend of Zelda series? So, Edgar Wright sent a letter to Nintendo and to Shigeru Miyamoto, one of the designers behind the original game. He was able to convince Miyamoto and Nintendo to put the music in the movie when he told them that the music was the nursery rhyme of this generation. But video game music wasn't the only way that Scott Pilgrim was defined by its music. Here's a list of the different songs in the Scott Pilgrim soundtrack. Notice anything in particular? Maybe you noticed the song literally titled Scott Pilgrim. Maybe you assumed, oh, that's a song made for the movie, and Sky's going to talk about how it's perfectly encapsulates. No! That song was made before the movie, before the graphic novel. Scott Pilgrim's name comes from a Plumtree song, and the song right below it's called I Heard Ramona Sing. Wonder what character that might have influenced. As you can see, Brian Lee O'Malley listens to a lot of indie music. And since Scott Pilgrim's setting is based on his real life, it would make sense for the movie to have a soundtrack of a bunch of awesome indie rock songs. And I mean a bunch. The filmmakers even got real indie rock artists to compose the songs for different bands in the movie, like Sex Bomb with Beck and The Clash at Demon Head with Metric. When watching the movie, it draws you into the world and engrosses you in the story without you even realizing it. As you can see, a movie can be rapidly influenced by its choice of soundtrack, and it's important not to be lazy with the song choice. I hope you enjoyed this dive into Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, and if you're new to my channel, consider subscribing. This isn't my first video on a movie, so click on the channel icon and watch some others. That being said, I hope this video has inspired you to take a closer look at the music in your movies, and I wish you a good day.